Alright guys, so I'm getting back into the swing of things here, and I get a lot of requests for tutorials or help with some of your art, and all that stuff I really like to do. However, like a tutorial for something like this, if I played it back in real time, would be, you know, 10, 15, 20 hours long. So what I decided to do is I'm going to jump in here over the top as this is playing, and sort of give you guys a bit of a walkthrough on how I'm doing things, and hopefully that'll help you guys a little bit. So let me know in the comments below if this is helpful. Otherwise, I can just chuck music on and let it play if my voice is too annoying. So, but yeah, basically this is a piece for church awards. You can see right now I'm using the symmetry ruler, which is a feature in Manga Studio. What it means, I can draw on the left and it will replicate it on the right. And one of the things I do when I'm using it is I try and sort of break up the symmetry a little bit. I think that's important as well. So you can see with the eyes, I've sort of switched off the symmetry ruler, tended to one of the eyes and drew the other one. So it's got a little bit of difference, so it doesn't look so cut and paste. But for something like with the horns, it's very easy to just get all that content in there. But yeah, as I said, this is a piece for Treasure Wars, and what we're doing is we're working on a background, which will land on the website. I think it's for a few Twitter promotions and stuff like that as well. So a little bit multi-use, but yeah. So you can see the rough in the background. I'm just starting to ink things up. I've separated out that monster layer, and now I'm putting in all the environment and stuff like that. A lot of my line work will all get merged down into one layer, but when I'm working, I find it good to sort of keep it separated, just so I can move things around a little bit. So sort of draw it in the background here. My inking brush is called, at the moment I'm using the Yeti Inker, and then I've just added a little bit of a slant to it. I'll put a link in the description below. Go grab it. It's I can't remember if it was free or maybe it was a couple bucks or something like that. It's a great inker, but the G pen is great as well. I find them both pretty good. So I dropped down the opacity now of the environment, and now you can see me putting in Vic. Now you can see when I did the character, I just drew the general shape of how I want him to be sitting before I started worrying about armor. And then with the armor itself, I went probably a little bit detailed with his stuff for a rough. A little bit more detailed than I usually do. A lot of the time I'll make it up as I go. But yeah, it worked out alright. So now that I can see how he sits, where his sort of body is positioned on the rock, it's a bit easier for me to now to get all that detail in there and know that he's going to look alright. So it's pretty important to do that. But again, it's pretty much the same stuff. I used the 2H pencil tool in Manga Studio for doing my roughs for the most part, so you can grab that. I think it just comes default as well. And yeah, then I just drop my opacity on the layer underneath, put a new layer over the top. I always lock that layer as well, because there's nothing worse than doing all your inks over the top and accidentally merging that down onto your rough layer, because that is hard to get rid of. But yeah, so now I turn back on my environment, and it means that with the opacity down, I can actually remove the rocks and a few other things that I need to, which is super handy. So yeah, working on Lachlan now, and you can see same deal. You know, positioning. I just sort of put the character in. Okay, well, I'll have a leg up here, maybe an arm down here, and then I go over the top with the detail of the armor. Now for references, guys, I think still at the moment the best reference that I have right now for doing armor and posing and everything that you need, environments, is Pinterest. Pinterest is amazing. If you're not using it, you need to be using it. I just thought it was something I use to look at cutlery and crockery or whatever, the sewing projects and all that stuff, but it's not. It's you know, you can type in you know, armor or fantasy armor or medieval armor and just get so much reference there as well. So it's great, especially when drawing mechs. It's like my #1 resource. It's fantastic. I use it every day. So yeah, you can see that solid shape down below. We're going to jump into color now here. This is how the flats basically appear, so it's just blocked in essentially. But you can see those solid colors below. That's because it's going to be a website background. We need that color to fade out. So usually I try and edge it with, you would have seen with the other Treasure Wars stuff I did, I try and edge it with a solid color so we can just bleed that straight down. But I always start with the thing that's most intimidating, and for me it's usually water, lava, fire, something along those lines. Anything really environmental and sort of insubstantial, I guess. That's the right word. I draw pictures, I'm not a scientist, but yeah, I try and put that stuff in there. It just grounds it. It also gives it a really good color point, because I know that's going to be the highest, most saturated color. And then for the rocks, what I do, once it's all laid in, I just take my standard inking brush and I just ink in the shadows. And you can see I just run that all the way along, put in all the cracks and stuff like that. My shadows are usually done like that at 100%. Pick a color which is a little bit darker than what I'm doing, and then lay it all in. Then I can always just grab that airbrush tool in Manga Studio and just run that over the top of the shadows to soften it up a little bit. I find that really helps. And then what I'll do is I'll use the marquee tool to select the area which isn't shadowed, and then I'll airbrush in a gradient right along the edging of the of that shadow, or at the top edge as well, and then sort of gives it this effect, which a lot of people always comment on about how I get the gradients to work. But that's pretty much how it's done. There's not too much magic there, but yeah, I also ran a texture brush over the top of those rocks. I'll put a link in the description below for an awesome brush pack from Manga Studio, which has got textures, splatters, everything you'll ever need. Clouds, which they're super hard to do as well. They're a pain in the butt, so really important. Yeah, we're colouring the monster here. Again, symmetry brush. I fired it up because I knew those horns were symmetrical, so I could use the gradient tool to get all that done a little bit quicker. And then I just switch it off and start colouring the eyes and a few other things. I play around with the eyes a bit here and just couldn't get anything which I like. And just went for a subtle glow. Now one of the issues I found with this design near the end was that there was just too much of what what's known as an analogous colour palette which I was using. So you'll see at the end I add a bit of complementary with the background. I changed the sky a bit. But yeah, it was really hard to get that separation in here. And it's one of the things I may have changed if I went back and did it again. Yeah, even something is changing all those rocks that I'm doing in that reddy orangey colour, making them a blue base, so then that lava stands out a little bit more, so using your complementaries rather than just sticking to a straight analogous. But that's alright. This is all stuff we learned. One of the things, like the horns in the middle of the creature as well, fiddle around with that. You see me change the colours again and again. Before I think eventually, spoiler alert, I end up just desaturating it right down to the horn colour, and it just looked like there was just too much going on there, so I just needed to suck out too much, too much focal, I guess too much of a focal point, I guess. So I had to sort of bring that out a little bit. You'll see me do that. Another technique that I use, which you'll see me kick in here, is the outlining stroke, and you see this a lot. I picked this up from the World of Warcraft. I mean, I think Samwise Didier does it a lot. Those concept artists, they add that line around the outside, sort of where light is reflecting, and I overuse it a lot. I know that, but I like it. So, but you can see me throw it in here, and then what happens is I'll link it all in. I'll go like right above the line work, right about everything, ink it all in with white, and then I just lock the transparency, and then I can pull in a color to it. So with this one, I think I pulled in like a yellow, so it's got that reflected light coming up. But what it does is it also helps add that little bit of separation between all the elements, because it gets very, very busy, especially this with all the detail on the rocks and stuff like that. Again, change the color of the sky now, so I've added in that blue, so it sort of complements the colors below. But it's not all just like blah red, so I think it worked out a little bit better in the end. Just working on all the armor pieces. Again, it's all the same technique. I sort of just put in my hard shadows, gradients, and then like a thin highlight around the edges. You see me work on these glows. A lot of these glows are done with the cloud brush in that brush pack below. So just been playing around with that for my fire a lot at the moment, and don't mind how it's turning out. So yeah, let's try a few different techniques here and there, but that's the way I'm doing it right now. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So you'll see me just play around with these horns now, but it's pretty much the end here. So yeah, hopefully this helped. Hopefully me rambling over the top helped a little bit. If it did, please let me know below. Leave a comment, say yes, this helped, because I can do these. I got plenty more stuff recorded, and I can do that, no worries, if it helps. Otherwise, I can just let music play, and you don't have to listen to me at all. So, but yeah, please follow me on Twitter, my Facebook page is below as well, and we'll get some more stuff out next week, hopefully. Alright, thanks guys, later.